Hello, welcome to Computer Tech and More. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ROG Chakram. I'm going to say Chakram X. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing. You know how it's pronounced. Go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I'm dyslexic, so I just read everything phonetically. 2.4 gigahertz, Bluetooth. It uses Razer software, so if you already have to use their Armory Crate, well then you're just controlling this with Armory Crate, so you're not adding another piece of bloatware software. You already have it installed. It's up to you to decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I basically have no opinion at this point of it because my motherboard is a Asus one, so I already have Armory Crate installed. But let's open up the box. Okay, when we open up the box, we are greeted with this view. We have a puller. I basically did no research on this, so I'm just looking at it for the first time. We got, looks like USB-C, USB-A, so this would just be like your dongle holder. Is it magnetic? It is not magnetic. That would be super cool if this was. I wonder why it's metaled in on the bottom. Oh, it can clip to something. What on earth are you going to clip this to? Like, I'm sorry, but seriously, what are you going to clip it to? What else do we have in here? We got some extra switches. We got, who knows? We got, what else is in here? I don't know what that is offhand. We're gonna have to take a look here in a second. And we got one more of this. And of course we got the dongle right there. And there's the mouse. Extra knobs. Well, that's pretty nice looking. Let's zoom in on it. Okay, before we really get into the mouse, let's take a look at the box. Next gen, 3000 or 36,000 dots per inch. So that's a really high accuracy. I generally am using like 3000 for day-to-day use, so that doesn't really make much sense to me. 8,000 hertz polling rate. Wow, that is really fast. Most wireless receivers I've come across are more like 1,000 is average, 2,000 is kind of new, so 8,000 must be like really, really advanced. What do we say? Tri-mode connectivity, so wired, it might be through wired mode. 2.4 in Bluetooth, so newly designed detachable joystick, different sizes to refine your control, so whichever size you like the best. Gamepad layout, programmable analog digital joystick for side buttons. Push fit switch socket 2 compatible with 3-pin mechanical and 5-pin optical micro switches. So I guess that's, whoops, you can't even see it on camera. Right there, so you can swap out the clicks, I guess. That's the way I'm reading it. See, I'm reading the product information same time as you. ROG cable, mouse feel for smooth, unrestricted movement. Okay, and screwless magnetic buttons. Cover. Okay, that's cool. Let's take a close look at the mouse. Okay, in the bag we also get a little carrying bag. Fairly soft, nice feeling braided cable. It's a very soft braided cable, so if you're using this wired mode, it would be very easy to move it around, so it would cause very little restrictions. And we got some stickers if you want to stick stickers to everything. And we're going to be looking at the instructions on how to take it apart. So it does have handy dandy instructions, and you know that just pops off. You need to make sure that the orientation is right. I'll be testing out which one I think I like the best. And let's see. Okay, I figured it out. You get your fingernail under there. That just pops off. So it's kind of translucent-ish and just looks completely black when under there. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's do the next. All right, then to take off, that just slides off. Right there's the little magnet. And how'd I do that? right there. So right there is a little grip hold. Just boop. You can see the magnets underneath. We got the switches right there. What kind of switch is this? And then to replace the switch, we need that switch puller. All right, to pull out the switch, you get it into the side. You reach in there, you get a good nice grip, and you just pull it straight out. And we got a red switch, and we got a little black switch. Let's just move the microphone right next to it so we can hear it. And we'll test it out. And while in the manual, I talked about pulling rate. Here is that information. So with Bluetooth, it's going to only work at 250. For the receiver, it'll go up to 2,000. Why does that look so fuzzy? And with wired is where it'll do 8,000. So that's what you get. So I was trying to find information about what these switches were. So it mentions 3-pin mechanical and 5-pin optical, but both these look to be 3-pin. So they could both be mechanical switches. I just really can't tell right now. And I just suppose that they'll have a different click feel. So we'll kind of test that out just to get an idea of what we're getting into with them. But apparently you could buy compatible switches for this mouse and put in whatever you like. So it can work with both optical and mechanical switches, depending on what sort of fit and feel you like the best. So reassembly is just everything in reverse. You just line everything up. There's a little magnet right there. And da-da-da! Something's not lined up right. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we are lined up. So, I don't know. This one has this side. This side is now black. This side is red. Seems to be a quieter click. Let's swap it out again. All right, we got the red switches in. Let's listen. All right, let's switch over to the black. Okay, as you can see, the black switches are in. Make sure everything gets lined up. Make sure everything gets lined up. Okay, let's take a listen now. So I'm not sure if I really feel anything different. They feel basically the same to me. And I'll need to take a closer listen to if I really felt like there was a noise difference between the two. But it's kind of cool that it gives you this kind of customizability just by default. So I think if I had to choose, I would choose the black switches. They sound a little bit quieter to me. The red switches I think would probably drive me a little crazy over time. So then I guess the next question is, do all these magnets kind of mess up the fit and feel? Well, I'm going to say probably. Let's get my other mouse. So this is what the ROG one has to beat. This is my Razer Basilisk, and you know, you can see me wiggling it, and they don't really wiggle anymore. In terms of weight, this does weigh a little bit less, but overall not a bad weight difference. So I mean, the magnets and the customizability is going to add weight because you have to build in that functionality rather than just being able to lock everything in place when you just make a fixed unit. And one of my key favorite features is this thumb knob. So you do get kind of, so I have a medium-sized hand. I wear men's medium gloves. the control wheel feels pretty good. You probably will find tiring if you're mousing a lot for like work, but for switching in games, it's a good balance between having a like web mouse, just everyday mouse, and one specific for gaming. So gaming, you really want to have like individual clicks that you can feel. So with like weapon selecting, that kind of thing, and shooters. While for mousing through web pages and stuff, you want the spin to be very easy. That's at least my opinion on the matter. You got button, 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 button. So this back one is actually, so these two are very comfortable. Sorry, these two are very comfortable. This one is not bad, but this other one right here is too far back to really be, you would put something that you don't use very often back there. You do have a center click. Let's do a listen for how the switches sound. I did put the black ones in, but compared to my Razer Basilisk. Alright, that's the little bit of sound between the mice. Well, now let's plug it into a computer. We'll go through the software and then we'll do a little bit of gaming on it. Alright, we're going to start by going through the software for the Chakram. So we are in Armory Crate. You click on your device right there. And first thing you come across is this scene right here, where it has the mouse in various options. So you can select the scroll up, scroll down, right click, and determine what you want each of these buttons to do. And clicking on the side, you can click on what you want the little control knob on the side of the mouse to actually perform in terms of its functions. So it leaves it very open in terms of what features and functionality you want your mouse to have, including these 4 side buttons. I think I'd rearrange them a little bit, then volume up, volume down right here. I do forward, back, and then rather back right there. I do forward, back, and then maybe volume up, volume down, don't know. Something else right there. But it leaves it very open for the customizability of this mouse and that. And then you can click on Performance, and it has 4 DPI modes for you to select from as default, and these are adjustable so that you can use this slider right here or manually enter the value, so you can adjust it between anywhere from 1 DPI if you really wanted it to, all the way to 36,000 DPI. That is a crazy DPI value. And then you can select your polling rate. You obviously want to have it at 1000 just for best results. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Angle tuning. So I guess this is how quickly it'll snap to the edges of objects, and whether you want it on or off. Let's see. Then we can come in here to lighting and adjust the various lighting effects that come on the mouse itself, so that we can, I personally just like static or maybe breathing rather than rainbow effect, but it allows you to come in there. And for advanced, rather than just a solid color everywhere on the mouse, assuming you want it on, you click on Aurora Creator, opens a new application, and apparently we have to go to Update Center. Okay, now that we have all the software updated, we are in Aurora Creator, and this allows you to select things individually. Oh, I set layer. Oh, there we go. We select the layer, and that is associated with that. We can then drag, let's say, static down, and we choose our color. Let's go ahead and just make it my purple color. And then we can, say, click over there, set layer, static again. We want to make sure these are lined up, otherwise it's not going to work properly. It's kind of, it makes sense, but it's also kind of tedious in terms of software. And then we save and apply. And we gave it a name, trial or something like that. Trail. And, well, it changed its colors. I'll show that in a little bit. But it allows us to click on each of the various sections so you can really fine-tune what kind of coloring you want rather than just having it be all one uniform color. And do keep in mind that doing this will basically turn off the standard functionality in normal lighting modes here. It'll just always be in Aurora Creator. So depending on what kind of functionality in terms of lighting appearance you want, you may want to use Aurora Sync, Aurora Creator, or one of these. And then we got the battery mode, which probably turns off all the lighting. And we got calibration for different surfaces. That's pretty cool. So we can manually calibrate it, and we would move the mouse across our desktop surface, and it would figure out the different patterns and features on the surface itself. So let's go ahead and run through an example of that. And it's loading. Okay, I guess it did it. Or we can do one of the preset surfaces. It's basically all up to you. And then there's the lift off distance, so how high off the surface you want to be able to lift your mouse before it detects or doesn't detect whatever you're doing on it. And then we have our power saving modes. It tells us how much battery you have in it, light alert with the battery percentage level, and switch to sleep after how much time of not using the mouse at all. And then alrighty, we are in game. And as a note, I plugged it into a different computer, and the lighting has stayed the same, and the controls feel identical to when it was on the other machine. So that means that it has an onboard type memory, and it remembers all the settings, which is a very nice feature if you ever have to bring your mouse to plug into something else. And we're going to be comparing against my everyday mouse that I use for gaming in my computing, which is the Razer Basilisk. And just prior to gaming it, I want to note about hand grip. So for like optimal use for even the Basilisk, you really want to be like full claw grip, at least for my medium-sized hands. And that's to get to the trigger here. For the Chakram, or however you pronounce the name, you need it to get to this thumbstick. In terms of what we're doing in game, well, I'm actually moving. I could almost control my character with it. One-handed character control, apparently. I'm moving backwards, side to side. This is kind of actually trippy. I didn't even try this until just right now. Personally, I'd be looking through settings and figuring out a way to make this a DPI adjustment rather than trying to control your character's movement, aiming all with one hand. That's an interesting experience. So if by chance you're one-handed and you want to game, this might be the absolute perfect mouse for you. Other than that, I changed the settings and see if I could make that a DPI, because there are just times when you want to be able to zoom in and focus and whatnot. But that requires more or less a claw grip. My usual grip is not fingertip, not there, but it's kind of halfway in between. But anyways, let's game. We're at 1000 hertz pulling rate. And did I say we're playing Black Mesa? We are in the Zen scene. Do I jump down there? I don't remember. Oh, I didn't die, so I'm going to say that's a yes. Not a lot of combat here, but just looking around, the mouse feels basically like any other mouse. Let's check the response. Click. Yeah, it's instantaneous. There's no issues there at all. Let's see if I'm pushing forward and that's pulling back. Yeah, it's going to get very confused if you're trying to control the wheel and use the keyboard at the same time. So you may not end up in a good experience with that. What else do I want to say? But it feels pretty good in hand. compared to the Razer? I prefer the Razer a little bit, but I'm also more used to it. But the ROG here is pretty good, I would say. Oh, I think I need to get over there. Oh, we got a double jump scene. Alrighty, I jumped to a different part of the game just for, well, having fun with combat. Reload, reload. Run away. Jump. I mean, the mouse feels really good. No real complaints about using it at all, if I do say so. My only real complaints would be setting up this little joystick on the side so that it's like a DPI thing, or maybe a weapon selector rather than movement. It's a little weird doing that, but it's feeling really nice. I think that this is a good mouse. I mean, so having a device that needs extra software installed to get full function out of it kind of is annoying. So with Razer, you need Razer software, and each piece of extra software you run on your computer slows it down just a little bit more, taking away from your overall gaming performance. So if you already have to have Armory Crate installed, why not use a mouse that requires Armory Crate? Of course, if you remove Armory Crate from the equation, then this mouse doesn't really make sense, kind of like my ROG keyboard here. But if you already have it installed, why go off and get a different piece of software, have to install it, use their software, slow down your computer just a little bit more? You know, it might only be 5–10%, but if your computer is already at the edge of playing a game, then that 5–10% is the difference between you having a good time and a bad time. So I'm probably going to stick with my Razer mouse, but this was a fun experience. If you don't have an Asus motherboard, I don't think this mouse makes a lot of sense for you. There are just, I think, a little bit better options out there. But if you're using Asus and you're already using Armory Crate, then this is feeling like a very good option. And I think it would be worth considering. Of course, it's hard to gauge if you're always going to buy Asus motherboards, you know, stuff like that in the future, which then means you would have to continue to install extra pieces of software, which is a little bit annoying. So I can't make that decision for you, but I can say that this is a pretty good mouse, and you could always install the software, get the mouse set up, and then uninstall the software, and it should work. That is outside of my experiment for this review, and it's something that I would focus on if this was my mouse of choice. So I hope this was informative for you, and if you got questions, comments, if you've got advice on what you'd like to see in future videos or ways I can improve my videos, I'm welcome to constructive criticism. And I hope to see you here next time on Computer Tech and More, and have a great day.